Welcome to Scars to Stars, where conversations and personal stories let us know we are not alone. In this show, you will meet authors and speakers from our books and events as they share vulnerable personal stories to spread hope and inspire you through adversities in your own life. The world is a difficult place. You will find like-minded people here with kind hearts and supportive souls. I am your host, Dina Brown Mitchell. I am a suicide survivor and the founder of the Realize Foundation. I am so glad you are here. Let's dig into this meaningful conversation. Hi, everyone. It's Dina at the Realize Foundation. I hope you're having a great day. I have another guest for you today. It's Bibi, and she's going to tell us about a story about brain health, and she's also going to tell us about what she does for work now and how it can help us in our health and our brain health, our whole body health, all of it. And it's amazing. So I can't wait for you to hear about it. Welcome, Bibi.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here, Dana. I
Sure.
appreciate it. And I was introduced to this company called Zinzino 13 years ago. And I was very excited because I have a background in nursing, and like most of us, I like good health, and I also like natural things. So for me, this was a treasure that I found, and I'm very excited to educate people a little bit about this, explain why this is important, and um, what it can do for all of us. And so let me just change this thing here. And yeah, so I was introduced to it, and so what the company does, we have supplements, but what's different is that we back it up with at-home dry blood testing. So we're basically proving this works, and I love it that we not only feel better, but we can actually also see it on the test, black and white. How are we doing? And that's exactly what I did with me and my family, and we got tested. And what we test for is fatty acids. So omega-3 and omega-6 is two of them. And what I learned when I started working with this company is that there's these two fatty acids that are extremely important. And we have to get both of them through our diet. We have to eat it. And one is called omega-6. And the main function for omega-6 is to cause inflammation. And we often think of that as a negative thing, but we actually need inflammation. It's part of the healing process, and we can't live without it. So it's a necessary thing. But when we're healed, we want that inflammation to stop. And that's where the omega-3 comes in. The main function of omega-3 is to stop the inflammation when we're healed. So as you can imagine, the balance between the two is extremely important. So for your body to function optimally, you don't want to have more than 3 omega-6 to 1 omega-3. So a 3-to-1 balance is that magic number. And we have done over 1.5 million tests worldwide, and it's showing that 97% of the world's population is out of balance with this important nutrient. And so what we do, we have a solution. We don't just tell you, yeah, it's really bad, but we have the solution. And we have something called balance oil, and it's a very good fish oil combined with antioxidants from a pre-harvested olive oil that has very high amount of antioxidants, a superfood in itself. And then when you combine it with that omega-3, it makes the omega-3 last long enough for you to actually absorb it. Because unless you absorb a supplement, it's not going to do you any good, right? And so what we do is that we want to show you how well this product works. And so we do an at-home dry blood test, very easy, very accurate, and it'll tell you some of the most important numbers about your body. And so you get a baseline, and what we look at is that omega-6 3 balance. We also look at your cell membranes, how healthy they are. So how well they absorb nutrients, get rid of toxins, how well your brain functions, how well your immune system is functioning as well. So very important indicators. And like I said, most people need help. So in the US, it's 99%. And what we do then, we have this balance I'll let you get on, and then we retest you after 4 months to show you actually absorb it and you're getting healthier. And this is an amazing product. It's a global issue, and it's something that keeps you from having your best health. If you don't have omega-3, you can't have your best health. So it's an extremely important thing to educate people about and spread this good news that there is a solution. There is a way that you and your loved ones can get healthy.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It's very, I mean, I've learned a little bit because we've had other conversations, and it's really exciting that there's something like that that can not only help us with our body health, but our brain health is so important. And it's not something that there's a lot of things for.
Exactly.
So yeah, and you have a personal story about how this has helped your son, and I would love you to share that.
Yeah. And I often say I love all the benefits. So it's brain health, it's heart health, it's immune system, it's joints, digestion, skin, you name it, right? It just benefits the whole body. But for me, I often say my favorite is the brain, because it's impossible to have good quality of life unless you have a healthy brain, right? And it's so difficult to treat. I mean, I hear so many stories of people with side effects of taking medication, right? And then you need another medication for that side effect, and it's just not good. And but I love this because we know the brain needs that omega-3, and that's exactly what we give. And we actually measure how well your brain functions. I love that part, and that we not only feel better, but we can actually show it on the test. This is how bad it was, black and white. And then 4 months later, we show you, wow, there's hope out there, because this is how much better your body functions, and you're actually absorbing this. And so with my son, I mean, he's a very bright, smart, funny kid, and gentle, and he's a wonderful kid. And at the time he was 13, and when I started, and in spite of this, he had a very explosive temper and he had mood swings. But I was thinking, well, he's also a teenager, right? But then we got him tested, and instead of having that magical 3-to-1 number, his was 100-to-1. So the average American is about 25-to-1, but his was just off the charts. And we can also see on his mental strength that his brain was really having a hard time. And and so I'm so glad we caught it, because it's awful when you find out that your kid is struggling because of a lack of a nutrient. I mean, something in this case that's very simple to correct. So I was very glad that we got him tested and that we were able to help him. And we saw a big difference in the first month even. And my husband, he was pretty skeptical in the beginning. And I asked him one day, I'm like, Daniel's really changed, hasn't he? And he's like, oh yeah, And so we saw it in his mood. Like I remember one day I was asking him, hey, honey, could you sit at the table, please? And he's like, okay. And I was like, whoa, this is different. And he would get upset about things, but it wasn't in this explosive manner. He was more like normal. So it was, for me as a mom and for my husband as a dad, it was really encouraging to see him get better, not just how we saw it, but also we could see it on the test. So yeah. So very, very, very cool stuff. And I also have a very good friend whose son was really helped by this. So he was a kid that really just lived in his own world. He was also 13 when he started. And he didn't talk much, didn't like to touch much, and didn't actually like to eat much either. And when my friend tested her kids, she has 4 kids, and the 3 kids were very different in their testing results as him. So his numbers were worse. And so she thought that was interesting, and got him on the products. And after 2 weeks, he started eating more. So she would always say, you have to eat at least this. This is the minimum. And after 2 weeks, he started taking second helpings. And she was like, well, maybe it's just me wanting that to happen, like wishful thinking. But then maybe a week later, he was at his friend's house that he had known for like 7 years or something. And he would never eat there. He loved to play computers and didn't interact much with the family. And that was fine. That's just how he was. And then one day she was like, dinner's ready. And he was like, coming. And she was like, whoa, was that Christian? And he came down. He, for the first time, ate their food. It's a big deal. And he had a conversation with the whole family and was talking. And the whole family was just like, the kids and the parents, they were like, what happened? And so when my friend Carla came to the door, they were like, what have you done to Christian? And it's just incredible to see, how that changed the trajectory of his life. And he's living on his own now and doing very well.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, it's and there's so many stories of people with all kinds of things with brain health being helped. And I love it that we can test, and we can also test the brain to see how well it functions. That's, I think, amazing.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about how this company started, because I think you've told me a little bit about that and like some of the statistics that you shared with me before, um, on like how many tests you guys have done and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we've done over 1.5 million tests worldwide, and it's done through a lab in Norway called Vitas. And it's a very renowned lab. They work with Harvard, Oxford, big hospitals. They also do DUI testing and doping testing for athletes, so it's a very trusted company. And they do very, very good work. So it's a dry blood test. So you get a kit with a little stamp-like thing that you prick a hole in your finger with, and you put a few drops of blood on test paper, and you send it in an envelope, self-stamped and everything. And it's very easy to do, right? And then after, here in the US, it's about 2 to 3 weeks later, we go online and we get your results. So it's an easy way to do a lot of tests. And that's why we've been able to do such so many tests on omega-3,
Yeah.
6 and 3 balance, which has never been done before. So it's very valuable, and we use it for research. And they just also came out with a peer-reviewed research paper about this, how important it is to test and how bad it is worldwide.
Hi there, it's Dina. If you like our podcast and you're enjoying learning about other people's stories of overcoming adversity, please go over to therealizefoundation.org and support us by donating. We believe that conversations, community, and personal story can change lives and reduce suicide ideation. And we also have a way, if you have a business, you can support us without money out of your pocket. So go on over to realizefoundation.org and look at the donate page, and you can learn how to support us as a business, and also you can donate any amount. Thank you so much. And so how did they discover this? And when they started, it's Zenzino is the name of the company. I think, I don't know if you said that earlier or not, but I'm just wondering how this came about. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question. Because we've known for many years that omega-3 is very important.
Hmm.
And so there was a scientist called Ola Ede who spent his whole career, about 30 years, figuring this out, because they could see, they knew that we need to eat more fish, or we need to have more omega-3. But if you just take the omega-3 out of a fish, it's not the same as eating whole fish, because if you take the omega-3 out, you're actually missing out on a lot of antioxidants. And omega-3 is dependent on antioxidants to keep it from oxidizing or breaking down, right?
Hmm.
So that's why omega-3 by itself doesn't work. So fish oil doesn't really move the needle. But what we've done is we've imitated what it's like to eat whole fish. So it's like oily fish instead of fish oil that we have. And what we've done is we've added that olive oil with antioxidants. So it's a pre-harvested olive oil. So the olives are harvested before they're ripe, and that gives them more antioxidants, the oil that you make from that.
Okay.
And that in itself is a superfood. And then when you combine that with the omega-3, that's like what it's like in nature. So it'll protect it long enough for you to as you absorb it. So that was a real breakthrough product that he actually came up with. And funny enough, or interesting enough, he actually tested it on ADD kids. And the kids with ADD, they had higher numbers,
Hmm.
more imbalance, and then kids who didn't have it. And when they got on the products, they saw a big difference in their focus and behavior. But yeah, it's a real breakthrough product that we have, because it is necessary. You can't have your best health unless you have enough omega-3, unless your cell membranes are healthy. And
Hmm.
because if you have healthy cells, you're going to have a healthy body, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about the products and how we can get access to them?
Yeah. So it's very easy. You just order it online, and I can give you a link if you want. And it takes 2 to 3 days, and you get it. And if you get a subscription, you save about 40% on the products, even more on the first packages. So, and we want to make it easy for you to not have to think about ordering every month, because you need to take it every month. If you need it now, you're going to need it the rest of your life. And it's amazing. It's amazing what this does, And so it's just a couple of teaspoons, depending on weight that you take. I like to add a little water. You can add juice to it, anything cold. And it's just once a day that you take that.
Interesting. So I know there are people who talk about olive oil and how it, taking olive oil every day is very healthy. And I know
Mhm.
you said there's olive oil in this product, correct?
Right.
Okay, so if people are just taking olive oil every day, like do you know how that helps and how it's different? Or can you explain that just for our listeners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So olive oil, we all know it's very good for you, but there's also a big difference in quality. So what we have is, so we have one olive oil, you can actually buy it on its own, and it has about 30 times as many antioxidants as a regular olive oil in the stores. So if you get that quality of olive oil, yes, that has a lot of antioxidants. And when you combine it with this omega-3, that's also what we call the Mediterranean diet in a bottle, right? Because that's really the two key things that they eat. They get enough omega-3 and antioxidants. So yes,
Interesting.
definitely this olive oil I know is very good for you, because there are some olive oils out there where they're blended and they're not what they say they are. So
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
want to
I've
go with
heard
quality.
there's another famous doctor out there that talks about olive oil a lot. I won't say his name, but He does talk a lot about the quality of olive oil, and they're not all equal, and how to
Right.
find the right ones and stuff like that. So
Right.
if someone's
Absolutely.
listening and they want to know more about olive oil, just Google the doctor that talks about olive oil and you could find
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool that it's included in this product. So you're
Yeah.
getting kind of all of that stuff you need.
Yeah. It makes it really easy.
Hmm.
And then we have other, I would mention two other products, but we have a lot of very unique and extremely high quality products. But we have a multivitamin and we have a prebiotic. So those two with the balance oil, we call the health protocol. And it really helps to regulate your inflammatory response, which is something everybody struggles with, right? And so it's these three products really make your diet like you're in a blue zone. So it imitates living in a blue zone. And of course, you should also eat healthy. You can't you have to do that to really
Hmm.
also feel better. But these products by themselves, they do definitely make a difference, that they get you in balance. But if you also eat well, that's of course is also important. And
I do.
exercise and sleeping and drinking water and all those things,
Mhm.
they are all important. But I think the hardest thing is to make sure that you get all these nutrients into your diet, that you get enough of them.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part. And that's where Zinzino makes it really simple.
So you have to explain what you mean by blue zone so people understand that.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So it's areas in the world that's been studied where people live to be very old and they don't have all the lifestyle diseases that we have here. And that's, of course, how we all want to age, right? Is to have long lives, but also have quality of life. And that has a lot to do with physical activity and a healthy diet. So those two things really gets you very far.
It's true. I feel like, you know, when I was younger, I could eat healthy and I felt good. But these days, even when you're trying to eat healthy, I feel like our food is different. There are different
Right.
things going on in the products we buy than there used to be. And I'm
Right.
wondering if that is something you talk about at all, or
Yes, definitely the quality of food, even if you eat fruit, a lot of fruit and vegetables, and you we don't have the same quality soil. It's been very depleted in most cases. So it's not as nutrient rich as we used to have it. And so it is, even if you think you're eating healthy, it's really hard to get all the nutrients into your body that you need, for sure.
yeah, I'm experiencing that myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
But
things going on.
and it's interesting when we think about aging that we think, well, I'm getting older, that's why I'm getting this and this wrong with me. But in most cases, it's really just malnutrition, to where you're not getting the nutrients that you need. And that's why your body, after a while, starts to struggle. It really fights in the beginning, but then over time, the body just breaks down in certain ways because we're not giving it what it needs. So when we give people these products, it's amazing to see all kinds of symptoms reversed
Mhm.
because the body gets what it needs and then it can function optimally, right? And that's the exciting part.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if you would just tell people how to find you, and then I'll put all the information you give me in the show notes so people can read about the product or look at the website and know how to find you and connect
Yeah,
with you if they're interested in learning more.
absolutely. Yeah. So you can email me at frederick.bb@gmail.com.
Okay, and the link to your website.
It's zinzino.com
Okay.
/77038. 67809.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that's in there so people can find you and
Yeah.
talk to you more about that, maybe their exact situation and what products
Yeah.
you recommend for them.
Yeah. And I'm happy to meet with anybody who's exploring this to find out if there's something they want or not. I love to educate and give information, and then it's up to them if they want to do it.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend it. Absolutely. I'm a huge believer in this.
I
Yeah.
I I am too. I just haven't had a chance to try it yet, but I'm going to soon.
Yes. I'm looking forward to getting you tested and see how you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your knowledge and information
Hmm.
because I think it can help so many people.
Absolutely. My
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I'm so happy you joined us for this conversation. My wish is that you found comfort and hope in your own unique situation. If you resonated with our message, please head over to therealizefoundation.org, where you can apply to write your own story in one of our books. You can also download our 60 Ideas for Self-Care on the resources page. I can't wait to hear from you. Until next time, you are not alone, you are worthy, and you are enough.